Eric Wood, serious and cylinder bodybuilding, coming up doing the New York Pro this weekend. This your pro debut or no?
This is the pro
This is
debut.
your is it really? When did you turn
Yeah.
pro?
I turned pro in North Americans 2021.
You won the
So
overall or you won your class?
I won the overall.
Wow.
The
That's
heavyweight.
impressive, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Who else was in your class or in that show?
It was Dom Triveline was
I know of Dom. Yeah, he was on the
he
show with us
turned pro
too.
there. Then the year later, the next year, North Americans. He got
Yeah, okay.
he got third in the heavies. And
Dom Trivellini's a good dude, man. Him and I stay in
Mhm.
touch. He was he had to stop coming on the show. He had some personal reasons, but him and I still stay in touch. He's a good dude.
we did team nationals together back in 2015.
Really?
It was a middleweight. I was a light heavy. Yeah, it was like 8 years ago.
And how long did it take you to get your pro card?
I went for it my first time in 2020 North Americans, and I got second in light heavies there.
Okay.
So took me 6 years to turn pro, but I didn't even attempt it until 5 years in competing. Like, what's the point? I'm not ready to turn pro. I might as well keep growing as an amateur.
Yeah, right. So you did a bunch of local NPC shows, and then you did 2 national shows, and your second national show you turned pro. Is that accurate?
No, I did teen nationals would be my first national show, and then
Okay, yeah.
I did junior USA's in
Oh,
2017,
okay.
and then junior USA's again 2018, and then junior nationals in 2019.
Oh, yeah, okay. But you don't get pro cards in those
No
in that.
pro card there. Yeah,
How'd you do in those shows?
I won my class in 2018 in junior
Mhm.
USA. Hunter won the overall there.
Okay.
2019, I won my class at junior nationals, and Nate
Okay.
won the overall.
Really?
Mhm.
Okay. All right. That's a pretty damn good amateur record, man. You know, a lot of times you could talk to guys and you could see who's going to be at the top of who's going to be the cream of the crop early on
Right.
just by their amateur record. You know,
Mhm.
when I talked to Stu, you know, he turned pro when he was 25 and it was his first national level show. And I was like, well, I mean, you're going to be an elite level bodybuilder. Just, you know, the only way is if something terrible happens or you just decide you don't want to put the work in anymore.
Right.
You know, and it's the same thing with you. If you've, you know, turned pro after doing the North Americans for the second time, I mean, that's pretty damn good. There are guys that takes 10 years to turn pro, you know, and it's like, okay, maybe you should, you know, if it's a great hobby, but maybe you should rethink things, you know, you kind of have to be real with yourself. There's somebody like you with Stu, you know, you could tell you just guys gonna just go right to the top.
Mhm.
What what did you weigh when you won the North Americans?
223, 222, around
And
there.
how tall are you?
5'8".
So me and you are the same height. What do you weigh now? You're going to be at the New York Pro.
This morning I was 242.
Damn.
Was the lowest I've been all prep. Because we're kind of like depleting now. So it's a third day, and we started depleting Saturday, and today's Monday, so it's been 3 days. You got another depletion day tomorrow, probably.
Yeah, but that's a lot of size. You know, put on 20 pounds on,
with better conditioning too.
Yeah, you know, I've seen the progress pics, man. You look fucking good. I mean, you look dangerous. We did a preview, and there was some guys that really impressed me when we did the preview, because you know there's a lot of new guys coming in. We didn't know a lot of the new guys. So Stu was the one who gave me the list, and we ran down everybody, and you know, you were one of the guys. I was like, holy shit, this guy's ready. You know, and then there are some guys like that just jump in, like Tonio. Like Tonio jumps in, and that's a problem for everybody. But the new guys are gonna make noise. You guys like you, Stu, Nate, even Nate's looking good.
Mm-hmm.
No, unfortunately, Carlos couldn't do it.
53 right now.
He's a fuck, dude. Nate is
update,
yeah. And what's odd about Nate is he looks better on stage.
Mm-hmm.
He's the reverse of most people. Most people look better on Instagram.
Yeah,
yeah. When you
put a tan on him and then oil and get under the lights,
and then
that's what really brings out that conditioning. Like any body fat,
right.
that's where it's going to get exposed and under those lights.
Right. You know, some people thought that he should have won over Carlos, you know.
Nationals.
Yeah,
Mm.
but they both got their pro cards, and you know, I did another preview on him, and I basically said, you know, nobody's got him on their radar. You know,
Hmm.
this is not his rookie debut. Nobody's got him on his radar, and this guy is a workhorse. He grinds,
Yeah. Yeah,
and
you can tell.
he's a workhorse. He doesn't like he shut everything down like 6 weeks out. He was like, no, you know, he called me. He's like, I can't come on the show till after New York Pro. I was like, don't worry about it. Do what you got to do. And he just fucking grinds and grinds and grinds. And I mean, he's up at 4:30 in the morning doing cardio. Jesus Christ. You know, he's a fucking beast. Anyway, back to you, man. All right. So this is going to be a pro debut. What are you expecting?
Uh, I mean, as far as expecting, I'm just expecting to completely beat my last look. You know, I don't know. I don't know who's going to be on, who's going to be off,
Right.
uh, stuff like that. How I'm going to look next to them, because this being my first pro show. You know, it's I don't know how I'm going to look next to the other guys. You know,
Very realistic for a pro debut. Very realistic. Just come better than you were when you won
right?
the North Americans. Very realistic. And then, you know, then it gets to the point where you're like, okay, got my feet wet.
See the adjustments you need to make. See,
Right.
you know, where you need to put the size on, all that stuff.
Yeah, man, I'm actually really excited about this one because I know there's not any elite level bodybuilders, but there's
Right.
future elite level bodybuilders coming in. Like,
Exactly. Which is still surprising with the New York Pro. I thought there would be, you know, bigger names.
yeah, that was another conversation we had. Actually, we don't understand. I don't understand why a lot of people haven't really been competing from the Arnold Classic to the New York Pro. I mean, you had the Arnold Brazil in between,
Right.
and then you had the New York Pro, and nobody was. Sergio was trying to get to both, but
Hmm.
he was having problems because he had a problem in the Middle East. I've had Sergio on my show a couple of times, and we still keep in touch. And you know, he was odds are he's probably going to do the Cali if he can get out here.
I heard.
But yeah, we had a discussion like, why aren't these guys? You would think that a guy like maybe like a Ian Valiero or
Right.
Kuklo just
Hmm.
punch your card into the New York to the Olympia. You know, you're going to take it, and then
Yeah.
worry about the Olympia. You know, but who knows? I don't know.
But it is a long way. What's the Olympia? How many weeks is that? Like 20 something right now?
Yeah. I just figured, you know, you do an early show, take some time, and then jump in.
Right.
I guess everybody's, you know, everybody's logic is different. Everybody's strategy is a little different. You
Because
know,
after New York, I think it's every week there's a pro show, I'm pretty sure.
thank God, because I run out of shit to talk about.
Yeah.
I really do. I run out of, you know, like
Orlando Pro, right? I'm in Tampa, so it's like an hour and a half for me. Orlando Pro's first weekend of July, so I'll probably head over there and watch
all right,
that.
cool. Yeah, man, I can't wait to go there. Everybody from the panel is going to be there. It's going to be a lot of fun in New York. So Bo Lewis is going to be there. Jason Ons will be there. Danny
Okay.
Broders will be there. Carlos, obviously Nate, me. Who else am I forgetting anybody? I think I got everybody. I don't know. I think Factory is actually going to be there. He used to be on the panel.
There was a diet that I saw he posted. This was back when I was like 20 in 2015. It was called the Get Big off season.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think it was like 19 or 20. I didn't have a coach at the time. It was just like I just got on there, and I think it was like a lot of quinoa and red meat and all that. But I followed it,
Yeah.
just something to, you know, have like a plan to follow it. I think
Factory is a good coach. He's turned a lot of people pro. And I think I'm pretty sure one of the people who turned pro was John De La Rosa.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. Factory has turned I think he's got, I don't know, like hundreds of pro cards. I think I want to say well over 100 people that turn pro. I mean, he's no joke, you know. But if you ever have a conversation with him about body, I mean, he loves. There is nothing else he thinks about.
Right.
That's it. You know, his whole life, and so that's the kind of guy that you want to coach it. You know,
Exactly.
You know,
Because it's not just a hobby, especially like the pro level. Like you gotta stay on top of your stuff.
Yeah.
You know, every week, every month, every year.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, is this what you do for a living now, or you actually have a full-time
I own
job?
a washing and window cleaning business up in Ohio.
What kind of business?
pressure washing and window cleaning.
Really?
Hmm.
Oh wow, when did you start that?
7 years ago, 2015.
Very cool, man. That's actually really cool.
Oh,
And
it's
how's it
something
doing?
completely outside of bodybuilding. Um, but yeah, it's just you got a guy up there that works full time, really good worker, and yeah, send him the routes. I just manage everything down here, and it's
But
been
that's
really
what's great about a business like that is that, you know, you just need somebody that will work hard and hustle. It's not
you can
a
trust.
skill. Yeah, it's not like a skilled trade where you have to have your finger on the pulse
Mhm.
or like something if something goes wrong, um, it could be dangerous,
Right, exactly. No,
right?
but like something might break, and I got to worry about getting that taken care of. But for the most part, it's been really smooth.
Yeah, that's really impressive, man. And what's
Then I
great
coach
is that
people too on the side down here.
sorry.
I coach people too on the side down here in Tampa, just online.
Yeah. So okay. So basically, you're a gifted bodybuilder and you're intelligent. Yeah.
A
Which
little bit.
yeah. No, but I like to see. but
I wasn't very good in school.
that there's very little to show that a good students or become great businessmen. You know,
Mhm.
most you can't replace ambition with grades. You know, it doesn't just
Right,
work that way. You
exactly.
know what I mean? It doesn't work that way. Even you know,
It's just you have to apply yourself.
yeah. And
Looking back now,
having
sorry.
multiple sources of income like yourself is really the way to go.
Mhm.
Because it's very difficult to live on one source of income in today's
Right.
economy. And
Yeah.
it used to be that way. It used to be, your dad went to work and had a 9 to 5 job,
Yeah.
and he was able to support a family, and your mom stayed home, but you can't do that no
Yeah.
more.
Everything's expensive. Everything's going
Yeah.
up.
Why do you think I do this podcast? I like
Mhm.
talking to guys like you. Yeah, I do, but I'm trying to make some money. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, what kind of kid were you? Were you a lot? Did you do a lot of sports, a lot of athletics?
I was always pretty active. Um, Played basketball growing up mainly, and then like through just like all different types of sports, just with the, like neighborhood kids and all that, all the just like football and all that stuff all through high school
Basketball at 5'8".
up until like high school up until like middle school and eighth
Ah,
grade.
okay,
But I was good.
okay.
I was good, but yeah, I was pretty active with sports. And
When you got to high school, what kind of sports did you play?
nothing. That's when I started lifting it uh,
Ah,
sophomore year.
was it just because you fell in love with lifting, or was some
Yeah,
kind of okay?
I went to one of the lifting things because for basketball tryouts we had or like the leading up to basketball tryouts we had this. I went to a really nice high school, Jackson High School, and we had like a big weight room. It was like a YMCA in there. And after the tryouts, we would go and work out, and that was like the first, like 15, and I was doing like bicep curls and just had veins like shooting through my arms. And I didn't know anything about diet or training or anything, but like my arms felt like they were gonna burst. And then after
Yeah,
that, I started going to the gym with my brother. And I was just like, I like doing this stuff a lot more. And then just made friends with people in the gym.
yeah, man. It's you're truly gifted if you're able to bodybuild at a pro level and make some money at it. Most people can. It just becomes a hobby. But that's yeah. I mean, you basically was the type of kid that looked at weights and could grow because
Mhm.
if you're 15 years old, excuse me, doing a bicep curl and veins are popping out, yeah, okay, you're
Yeah,
special. You're a special dude. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's
I think it's definitely like some genetics there.
yeah, absolutely, yeah. There's a lot of people don't realize how difficult it is. If you want to get into your prep and how difficult it has been to prep for the New York Pro, because when I interviewed Nate and he got into it, it's very difficult to sleep at night. He's been having a hard time sleeping. So, Gad, you can get into it.
It's mainly just when your body fat's lower, you're gonna I'm peeing like 3 or 4 times throughout the night.
Mm-hmm.
Especially now we're monitoring water, doing like 2 gallons a day. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like I sleep good, but I'm waking up every 3 hours to go, and it just disrupts your sleep because then then your stomach's like growling and all that. But just
Yeah.
it's just like I've done it so many times prepping, so I'm just kind of used to it at this point. But
Mhm.
like starting out, it was definitely hard. Like those first few preps.
Right. Have you found yourself becoming very irritable?
A little bit here and there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just with
And and what about actual pain? I've heard of guys being so low body fat that, when they
like
sit down,
my legs are just sore. Like to get up and off the couch and all that, it's like
yeah,
everything kind of sore. But like, that's how it's always been.
yeah, yeah.
And
Well, listen, man.
like, when you feel like that, that okay, this is how it's supposed to be. You're gonna look good on show day.
Yeah, there's a
For
particular
the price you
feeling.
pay.
Right, right.
Yeah.
There's a particular overall feeling that you get when you diet for a contest that only people who've dieted for a contest, really have dieted for a
Right.
contest, could tell. And I mean, I've only done NPC shows. Don't get me wrong, but I remember the last show I did was my best showing, but I just genetically I didn't
Mhm.
have what it takes to turn pro, and I realized that, so I just didn't do anymore. But I remember the feeling, and I remember doing it. And I'm going, okay, all right, this is how it's supposed to be.
Right.
This is how it's supposed to
And
be.
it sets that standard. Like, and it's just like a mental accomplishment too. Like, knowing you did the whole prep, perfect, and the show's over with, and you're like, you're gonna be happy with how you look, and as long as you have a coach that you trust.
Yeah,
Uh, I don't know. It's just a great feeling after a show. I feel great. It's just weird.
yeah. When you're on stage, and it almost, especially when somebody like yourself who's winning, right? I mean, let's be real, right? You're when you're on stage and they're raising your hand and they're giving you the trophy, and you go, hey, new IFBB pro. I mean, it's
Yeah,
then it's all worth it.
exactly.
Have you ever been in a situation where you just like you didn't do as well as you anticipated and you had to deal with that?
Yeah, it was 2019. It was like a local show. It was
Yeah.
3 weeks out from junior nationals. I was doing
Mm-hmm.
a warm-up show, a local one up in Ohio where I lived at
Mm-hmm.
the time. And I went and was backstage, and then I didn't feel hard, felt a little soft. I was
Mm-hmm.
up there, you could tell the confidence wasn't there. Um, and the people were like telling me after prejudging, they're like, it looks like you didn't want to be up there. I was like, yeah, it was just a bad showing. I won my class, but I lost the overall, but the goal was to get the overall there. And
Right.
it was like a very disappointing feeling.
Yeah. When you're in that position, it's almost like everybody wears their heart on their sleeve, because it's I don't know how to explain it. Only people that have been in that position can explain it, where it's like you diet so hard and you're so irritable. It's almost like your emotions are heightened as well, right? Maybe it's the nerves and the anticipation. So when you win, it's like this high, and when you don't do as well, it's like such a terrible feeling. Where
Mhm.
any other normal situation, like a normal life, something happens, it's a bump in the road, you adjust, you move along, blah, blah, blah. But when you prepare for a bodybuilding show and you don't do as well as you think you do, it takes you a week to get over that shit.
Yeah, seriously.
you
And there's
know?
you can use it to your advantage too. When you're training, you remember how that feels, and you're like, I don't want to feel like that again. So it kind of pushes you in the gym, or when you're doing cardio or you're tired, you're like, I remember how that felt. I don't want to feel like that. You want to improve.
Yeah, you have to be very mentally strong to be a bodybuilder.
Mhm.
I actually interviewed Hunter Labrada, and we talked about his last showing at the Olympia, where he was very disappointed, and he shouldn't have been. I think he came in seventh,
Yeah,
but from fourth to seventh, I understand it's a disappointment. Maybe still breaking the
right.
top 10 in the world, but nevertheless, he said he shut his phone off for 2 weeks because he did not want to see social media.
I believe it.
He did not want to. He would go to the gym. I think he had his father's business has a private gym, and he would go there,
Mhm.
just to work out and not see anybody. And it was very difficult to adjust, and I was lucky enough where he came on the MD show that we did. And that was the first show that he actually spoke about what happened. It was the first show he did, first podcast he did after. And,
Okay.
by that point, it was weeks later and he was over it and he was able to talk honestly. Um, but it's not easy, man. It really is. It's not an easy way to make a living. It's not an easy way to if you're not mentally strong, it could really affect you emotionally and
Mhm.
anxiety and depression and so on and so forth, you know.
Right, exactly. I think it just
But
comes down to those last like 5 weeks of prep when it really gets hard.
yeah.
It's where, you know, you think about it, you spend 52 weeks, a whole year growing off season, eating and all that. Like
Mhm.
you give 5 weeks to show what you just worked for to build.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And those 5 weeks, that's what separates the men from the boys, man.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that
Right
is
where it
rough.
starts getting really hard.
Yeah, 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 absolutely. One more question, man, and then I'm gonna let you go. What have you improved since your win at the North Americans to your pro debut?
What's that? Sorry.
I know you put on 20 pounds of muscle, but what do you think improved the most?
I would say just the overall density, the thickness, body composition, and definitely the midsection too. Like my digestion has been on point.
Oh, that's
Like
good.
North Americans, it was a little like just, inflamed and all that. I didn't feel as hard as I could have been, but
Mm.
now like everything's moving through nice, and my midsection feels flat. Everything just I feel good. I feel like everything in general. I can't really pinpoint one exact thing.
You know, this show is going to be really exciting because I've interviewed a bunch of guys. I've interviewed you, Nate, uh, Stu, and it seems like you guys are all ready to go.
Mm,
I need all three of you. I have not interviewed somebody who seemed to be unconfident, or all three of you guys seem to be in the best shape of your life right at this point.
exactly. Yeah.
And I think outside of Tonio, I think this is going to be a very exciting show with a lot of new blood and people. I think there's going to be a lot of new household names in the bodybuilding world after this show. I really do. I think people are going to start talking about Eric Wood and Beef Stew and Nate Spear, and I don't think it's going to be like, ah, fuck, there was no talent in the show. I think it's just a bunch of young blood that nobody really has heard of yet, unless you are following, like, unless you're me who follows bodybuilding to like
Yeah.
to the fucking to the T. But I really think that this is going to be the new crop of bodybuilders that are coming up right behind the Sampsons and the Derricks and the Knicks,
Right.
right behind, right on their heels. I think this is going to be the new crop of guys.
Mhm.
And
I'm excited. I'm really excited.
yeah, and as you should be, man, because from the progress pics that I saw, you look phenomenal, and your back is a. I don't want to blow smoke up your ass, but your back is a Mr. Olympia back. Your rear double by is probably the most impressive out of all the guys I've looked at the preview of the New York Pro. And that's saying something because that's a very difficult shot for most people. Most people
Right.
don't have that. They have to work on that, because that's a knockout shot. It's like, shows a one from the back. And at the same time, it doesn't look like your hamstrings are weak or your glutes are not tied in. It
Mhm.
looks like everything is tied in. So, it doesn't look like you have an issue from the back at all. From the back, you might have the best back in the lineup. Now, let's see, right? I mean, we could say that,
Exactly. Yeah.
I could say
He's
that,
up there and next to everyone.
right? But from the preview that I did and the pictures that I've seen on social media, certainly looks that way to me.
Thank you.
You're very welcome, brother. All right, listen, I'm going to let you go, man. And I'll shoot you a text during the week. I'll see you at the New York Pro because I'll be there all day and all night, and I'll be right in the front.
Okay.
Yeah, because I spent the money and bought the expensive tickets. Fuck. Thank God, because of this channel, I could fucking write it off.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I'll see you at the New York Pro, and we'll be in touch, and I'll text you, during the week, and good luck to you, man. I know you're gonna do well. And and yeah, absolutely. And after the New York Pro, you come back.
Definitely. Yeah. I'll have a little more energy then. I'm a little tired right now.
Don't worry, brother. I understand. Don't worry about it.
I
All
appreciate
right,
it.
dude. Listen, have a good night. I'll talk to you soon.
You too. See you.
Later.